Getting an engine aligned properly isn't the flashiest part of a repower, but it's one of the most important. In this video, we're showing you exactly how we aligned our new Cummins 6.7 truck engines inside our 78-foot aluminum yacht, Tongaroa. We'll explain what engine alignment is, why it matters, and what can happen if you rush the process. We'll walk through the key things we had to consider, how I had designed the custom engine mounts to make adjustments easier, and the difference between our old and new shaft couplers. Engine alignment takes time and patience, but by the end you'll see why we were so happy with how smoothly it all came together. If you're repowering, planning one, or just curious how to get truck engines running sweetly in a yacht, this build's for you. Now, one of the things that I had to consider when putting the new Cummins 6.7s in place of the 12V71s is I had to have some sort of way to mate those up to our existing shafts. The existing couplers were completely different from the transmissions that we now had going in with the Cummins, so we had to get new custom couplers to go onto these transmissions. And not only that, the couplers that these transmissions use are kind of a total bizarre pattern. They use a different bolt pattern than pretty much any of the standard ones that you can get. So it makes things difficult for finding. It's harder to get isolators on the shafts as well. So we had to make some changes there, but yeah, that was quite a task to make all that happen. The main difference of these couplers, going not just from the bigger size of the old ones to the smaller size of the new ones, is they use a 12-bolt flange. I mean, that is a massive amount of bolts for this flange, and quite honestly, for what we're using them for, they don't even require that. But, like I said, they were really hard to find in a typical sense. You couldn't get them from any of your standard supplies. So I called up our friends over at VM Defoe and checked with them. And so happened they had a pair of 12-bolt blanks for ZF transmissions sitting in the shop that they keep on hand all the time because it's such a bizarre pattern. It's not common. They like to keep some on hand. And these are castings done specifically for them. They're not another brand that they've purchased to modify. They make these. So we were very lucky that they had these kicking around in stock, and then they had to take these and machine the inner bore of them to fit our shafts.
Where's the shaft that you just put in?
Right here.
Oh yeah, look at it between your legs.
Yep. These new couplers are new coupler tight, and which is not super because never hammer on a coupler because these are precise machine faces, which is funny because I've got to clean off this face because it's covered in rust. But and that will affect the fitment. But yeah, it's critical that they're smooth. So it's just these.
You can't even hammer with a piece of wood between.
No, you can bump it that way, but if you're doing it, don't do it on the face of the coupler.
Yeah.
Put the block of wood in here, and just be real careful not to ding the end of the sleeve, because then you won't get it onto the shaft.
Okay. So is that in the right place now? What's the scoop?
No. Right now I don't even have the key in it. I've just got the coupler slipped onto the shaft just so I can
keep pushing the shaft out.
Yeah, exactly. So I've just got the coupler just enough on there where I can get a rough alignment on the motor. I don't want to hammer it right on because then I got to get it back off again. So I'm just getting it close, and then the rest can be adjusted with the motor mounts once it's on there. It's on there enough where it's not moving to any extent. But now I've got to sand the face of the other one. I have tested the couplers. They are the perfect ones for these transmissions. So good there.
Thank you, VM Defoe.
Yep. That was a very brief conversation about what couplers I needed, and a much longer one about everything else. But yeah, they are the correct couplers for the transmissions. So, winning. Now, one of the big things when you're doing anything on boats with engines is alignment. Anytime the engine has moved from its location where it was last aligned, it requires realignment. Obviously, we've had a massive difference in where the engine was sitting because we've got totally different engines. So now I've got to align these. And what that is you've got your shaft that goes out of the back of the boat in the stern tube. And what happens is that whole line of the shaft has got to carry on right through the transmission. So all of that alignment has to follow. If it doesn't, what ends up happening is, say your two flanges, your engine flange is off of alignment, what that's going to do is that's going to flex that shaft up and it's going to whip it, and then you're going to end up with a vibration on the boat, and sometimes it can be pretty heavy depending on how bad that alignment is. So it's critical that that gets done properly, and I usually do this down to a 2 thou clearance or finer. So 2/1000ths of an inch on that flange face is what I aim for. Alright, so I'm back to doing alignment on the port engine, and what I usually do is, being there's 4 engine mounts, you want to make sure that they're all at the same amount of compression, because obviously, you know, like a table at a restaurant, you know, you don't want more weight on one or the other, because then one engine mount's not doing anything. So what I usually do to sort that is, first I make sure that the engine is level in the boat. So pretty straightforward. I just eyeball it in where it's pretty well flat enough. And then what I'll do is I'll jack up one end of the engine till the load comes off the motor mounts. Let me get to that point. Okay, so I'm at that point now. I've got the load off the rear mounts here. And then all I do is I adjust up the lower nut until it just touches. With no tension on it, just finger tight up to touching. Now I know all of my engine mounts are going to be at the same compression, or at least close enough. And then I just take the jack back out again, and then as I'm adjusting the engine mounts, I just make sure that I adjust the mounts out in pairs. So if I have to go up with the back of the motor, I make sure I adjust the 2 rear mounts by the same amount. So I just count the flats on the adjustment nut. So I'll go up, say 1 flat or 2 flats with this nut. I'll do the same with that nut. That way they all stay even. And that's it. So I'm going to go ahead and get this engine aligned here today. And then I can get props installed again. Janice can get to getting the top speed on, and we're just one step closer. So not only does that engine have to be in line with the shaft has to be centered in the tube as well. Because if you can have that alignment on that flange straight, but if it's not centered in the tube, then you're still going to have a bend in that shaft. So there's 2 main adjustments that need to happen when you're aligning an engine. You need to have up and down, and you need to have side and side. So when I was designing the mounts, I made sure that the mounts I was using, there was an ability on the stud to adjust up and down on that mount. So my mounts that I fabricated would have a hole, and then there's a top nut and a bottom nut on those mounts, and you just adjust them up and down to adjust your height. And that also adjusts your angle on the engine as well. The next adjustment is the side to side. So when I bought these mounts from Seaboard Marine, they actually have slots cut into the mounts themselves, so that whole mount can shift side to side by probably 2 inches. So that gives me all the adjustment range that I need to do to make this alignment happen. All right, so I got the shaft alignment pretty much where it needs to be on Porsche here. What I'm looking for is, for starters, I want to make sure that the shaft is centered in the stern tube. And then the next thing we're looking at is the interface between these 2 flanges here. I usually try to go down to maximum of 2 thou. So what I've got is a 2 thou feeler gauge, which is pretty thin. I mean, that's basically like paper. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to feed that feeler gauge into that interface. And as you can see, it's not actually going in there. So I know that my clearance is within 2 thou. So I'm happy with where that is now. What will happen is as you're adjusting the motor mounts, is it'll open up a gap somewhere on this shaft flange. So basically you chase that gap around. So if I have a gap over here on the side, then I know I have to twist the motor that way to get that to close up. So whether that be shifting the rear mounts over, shifting the front mounts over, shifting both of them over, because as you shift one, it's going to affect your stern tube as well. So if I come over to the, say, this side with my mounts, then it's going to tighten up my gap on that side of the stern tube. So I'm going to have to adjust the front to make up for that. So I got pretty lucky with this one. It went pretty fast. So I'm happy with that alignment. So I'll go ahead and lock down all the mounts, and then I'll check that again just to make sure it didn't move when I locked it down. And as long as we're still within that 2 thou range, Porsche is good to go. All right, I was telling you guys about the engine might possibly move when I tighten down the engine mounts. Well, here you go. So I haven't changed anything, just tightened the bolts down. And I'm going to try to feed this feeler gauge in. Nothing on this side. A little hard to do this one-handed. Okay, so you see it won't go in there. But if I come over here, see? So it starts getting tight on me, kind of right dead center on the bottom. And I can feed it all the way up and around, and it starts to get tight, not quite center on the top. So basically what that tells me is I've got to rotate the engine this way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to loosen up the forward mounts and just give them a tiny little bump over. Won't make much of a difference on the rear mounts. It shouldn't make any difference on the relationship in the stern tube. But it'll be just enough to tighten that up because I'm probably only out by about 1/1000th. So I'm going to do that now, and then we'll come back and check it again. Okay, so I bumped the front over by a little bit. When I say a little bit, I move those front mounts over by about 2 millimeters, if that. So just to show you guys where I am now. So before I was loose from down here all the way up to the top. A little bit of a... You know what, I'm gonna take these flanges apart and see if there's something like a burr right here, because see, I can fit all the way up there, and then I hit something right here, but then if I go below that, I'm good. So maybe there's just something pinched in there. I usually just fire one little bolt in loose just to keep the flanges from sliding off. So I'm gonna pop that off and have a look and see if I have a little burr somewhere in there. And then I'll clean that off and try again here. Alright, so I can feel just a tiny little something right there. And it might be, if you look closely, you can see some lines, one here, one here. That looks like where they chucked it up when they did the, in the lathe when they did the shaft fitment. So what I'm thinking is maybe there was just a little... It chucked it up maybe a little tight and got a little burr right there. So I'm just going to take my file and I'm just going to clean up the edge. I'm not going to go flat on this face because I don't want to disturb that. But I'm just going to take this edge here and I'm just going to give it a little bit of a clean up because there's definitely a little, I can feel it with my finger, there's a little bit of a bump there. All right, so I got the shaft back together again. Like I said, I just filed that little tiny bit there. I'm just going to check it again, see if that's still there. See? Now I can go right through there. So I'm getting to almost the bottom and almost the top. So that tells me that I got another little, feels like another little burr right there. So I'm gonna do a little double checking all the way around, see if I don't have more than one burr, because that'll definitely make a big difference here. Yep, so I found another burr where they've got it chucked up on this side, so I'm just going to do some more cleanup there too. Okay, finally got all the burrs cleaned up. So as you can see, I can get basically to the kind of top quarter and kind of same on the bottom. So I still have to come over with the front mounts just a little bit to try to get that gap to close up a bit. Okay, so now you can see our gap is gone. I can't get that feeler gauge anywhere in there, so just to make sure I haven't gone too far, I'll measure the opposite side. If I went too far, then I'll have a gap over here, which is a distinct possibility. Nope, no gap there. We are tight all the way around. So I'm going to go back up front, tighten up those front motor mounts again, and check it again. Okay, for the last time, hopefully, I got all the motor mounts tight. Yep, we're tight on that gap. And once again, I'm using a 2 thou feeler gauge. When I say 2 thou, that means that is 2/1000ths of an inch. So pretty thin. And it feels like got it licked. Yep, we are tight all the way around. And just so you know, guys, know why we align everything is because if we were to go with a gap somewhere in here and that flange got tightened down with all the bolts, it's actually going to flex that prop shaft. And what's going to happen is that prop shaft is going to whip around and it's going to make a vibration. Not only that, it's not super good on anything. So you want to make sure that shaft alignment is pretty bang on. So we're good on Porsche. Now I can go get the propeller on and Janice can get some prop speed on it. Typically, the first thing that you're going to notice when a shaft or an engine is out of alignment is you're going to get vibration, because the shaft is now being forced into a bend, and that bend is getting whipped around. Sometimes it'll get bad enough where it'll actually contact the stern tube, and you'll get like a back, 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 back as this thing goes around, because it's smacking the sides of the stern tube. So that's the first warning that you're going to get. Now, if it's not taken care of, it can cause accelerated wear on your cutlass bearings, and it can also cause some wear on your bearings in your transmission too. So it's something that you really want to take care of. And you also have to keep in mind that even if your engine was once in alignment, they move. Your mounts will compress over time, so that engine will eventually go out of alignment. So it's something that you need to keep on top of. I wouldn't say that there's a set schedule on when to do it, but maybe on haul outs when you're doing your paint and such, when you go back in the water, just check it again and make sure that it's still good. So we're at about 2,000 miles on these engines, nautical miles, and it is on my to-do list to go back and recheck that alignment, because not only have the new mounts likely settled in, but the boat will have shifted since being back in the water for that long as well. I did the alignment out of the water just because of the cutlass bearings that are the shaft seals that we have. It's more difficult to do in water. So all that was aligned roughly before we went in the water. We haven't had any vibration issues. All that's been fine, but it's still something that I need to check. Now, if any of you have any questions, make sure you put them down in the comments. Every week we do a question and answer video called Your Questions Answered. And we'll tackle every single question that was put into the comments. So if you've got a question, you want an answer, hit it up in the comments.
If you missed how we got these Cummins 6.7s into the massive space left behind by our old Detroit 12V71s, be sure to check out that video next. We mounted Cummins 6.7s in Detroit 12V71 sized holes. Is where the real heavy fabrication started.